Hey, it's me, Ellen, and welcome to our e-zine. This is an exciting video because I'm going to teach you how to make more money and more cash. I've got six tips that are going to help you make more money and have more fun in business. The number one reason why businesses go out of business is because they don't operate at a profit and then they run out of cash. These things are connected. So I'm going to start by sharing Balance Sheet 101. This is how Warren Buffett teaches you how to read a balance sheet. It's the same way I've been doing it because a balance sheet is really simple. And the balance sheet, assets equals liabilities plus equity, that balance sheet has been the same since that equation was developed in the 1400s. The balance sheet is the only financial report. Every other financial report is derivative, is a subset of the balance sheet. So if the balance sheet's been a little confusing to you, we're going to check it out. But it is a key to discovering your profits, discovering your cash, and learning how to make more. So we're going to start by addressing what a balance sheet is, and then I'm going to give you my 6 tips, I have a hard time saying that, for keeping in profits and staying in positive cash flow. Ready? Okay, let's go. All right, the balance sheet is assets equals liabilities plus equity. So assets are your stuff. That's cash, accounts receivable, inventory, furniture, fixtures, computers. It's what you have. And the game of business is to make sure that what you have doesn't get smaller. And in fact, what you have gets bigger. So we want to grow assets, protect the assets and grow the assets. That's the game of business. Business is easy, I tell you. Okay, so assets is what we have equals what we owe, which is liabilities, plus what we own, which is equity. So assets equals who lays claim to the assets or where those assets came from. The balance sheet is based on the universal law of what comes around goes around. So there are only 3 ways to grow assets. There is the liability side of the equation. You can increase assets by borrowing money. This is called using other people's money. So for instance, if you bought a truck, but you bought it with a loan, the asset of vehicle would go up and the liability of the truck loan would go up. Assets equals liabilities plus equity. It stays in balance. So you've grown your assets, but you've grown your assets with other people's money. Sometimes that's a reasonable thing to do. Sometimes when you're using credit cards, it gets out of hand. We're going to talk about that. All right, the second way to grow assets is for the owner to put money into the company. So maybe you've written a check from your family fortune checking account and you've deposited it into the company checking account. This, you might have to do this now and then. It's not my favorite thing to do in business. When you do that, owner's equity goes up and assets go up. So that's the second way to grow assets. Keep in mind that if you are looking for an investor says, I want to invest $1 million in your company, that might be good news. But when you record that entry, cash goes up by $1 million if your investor gives you $1 million in cash. And then owner's equity goes up by $1 million, but the account isn't your owner's equity, it's someone else's. It's an investor's owner's equity. So in essence, what is now happening is your investor owns your business. So be careful of that. So one way to grow assets is through liabilities. The second way to grow assets is through owner investment. And the third way to grow assets is the best way, and that's organically, which means you sell stuff for more than it costs and you create a profit. And if you look at your balance sheet, there's a little line in the equity section of your balance sheet that says net income if you're a QuickBooks user, or current earnings, or some indication of the current year's profits. And when there is an increase in profits, there is an equal and corresponding increase in assets. Isn't that sweet? Okay, so if we increase profits and increase assets, as long as we're collecting those profits instead of burying them in accounts receivable, you're going to stay profitable, you're going to stay in cash, life is good. So the key thing to do in business is so simple, is to charge more than it costs for stuff and take your customers' money now. That's it. I mean, how hard can this be? Well, I'm going to give you a few more tips. If your profits are shrinking and your cash is drying up, let's fix that right now. There's always something that you can do from a behavioral standpoint that will make the score better. Okay, so let's address 6 tips that can help you make more money, more profits, and more cash now. Okay, here's the first tip. Number one, get to a known financial position. At Bare Bones Biz, we call this KFP, known financial position. And what it means is that you are keeping score accurately and that you know what every line item of the balance sheet and the profit and loss means, where the money is, where it's coming from. You know the score. Now, if you're not at a known financial position, sit down with your Bean team, your accountant, your bookkeeper, and say, okay, I'm going to know this is my money. These are my assets. These are my liabilities, my equity. I need to know what's going on in my business and commit to learning what your balance sheet and your profit and loss tell you. And if you do, you will find that just by paying attention, you're going to see an immediate increase in cash and profits. Why? Because you're looking. It's called the Hawthorne effect. That which you recognize, you energize. Now, this is a short-term effect. It goes away. But I guarantee if you're not in a known financial position and you start paying attention to your financial reports, your cash and your profits will be positively impacted. Cool, huh? Okay, here's the second tip of 6 tips. Upgrade your customers. I can't tell you how many times people will call me and whine about their customers. I'm working for the government, and you know how the government never pays. Why do you keep working for him? I'm working for this builder, and he's always running into financial troubles, and he owes me a lot of... Why do you keep saying yes? Upgrade your customers. One of my mentors told me, go find rich people and take all their money because they'll make more. Now, he was being a little bit flip, but go find people who have money and offer them your goods and services and take their money now. Take it right now. Don't put it in accounts receivable. Collect the cash. Find people who are going to be well served to use your goods and services and communicate the value of your services to them and take their money now. Upgrade your customers. Tip number 3. Okay, sell something. Sell an asset. Now, if you've run out of cash, on your balance sheet, you're going to have a list of assets: cash, accounts receivable, inventory, vehicles, furniture and fixtures. Some of the fixed assets on your balance sheet might be things that you can do without. So go to Craigslist, go to eBay, and get rid of some of the things in your life that aren't serving you very well, and you may find some cash there. It's an easy thing to do, and it may free up some money just to get you over the hump until you catch up with profits. Okay, now here's another tip. Number 4, put a budget together. Now, some people think of budgeting like dieting, but budgeting is just this amazing, powerful function by which you take the thoughts in your head about what you want and you give them a place to manifest. Isn't that beautiful? A budget is like creating a bucket into which your dreams can grow. It's not deprivation and horror. It's fun. It's goal setting. It's visualization and manifestation. A budget is what you want to have happen. And the budget does 2 things for you. One is it sets goals for sales and expenses. Terrific. Something to aim for. That will help you improve profits and cash because it'll improve your thought process. What could I do to achieve the numbers in that budget? Are you with me? The second thing a budget does for you is it helps you come up with a selling price strategy. All right? If you crunch the numbers and you come up with what your expenses are, and you divide those expenses by the number of widgets you could sell, maybe it's billable hours, maybe it's t-shirts, whatever it is you sell, you'll come up with a break-even per widget. Inflate that number for your desired amount of profit and start making more money. So budgeting is absolutely a fantastic way for you to increase profits and cash. Okay, now number 5 is the cheap trick and the surefire one. Raise your prices. Sometimes a budget can help you get real with what you need to charge. Even if you skip that tip, what if you raised your prices by 10%, 20%? What if you doubled your prices? Deep breath, give it a go, and here's what you'll probably find out. You're going to make more money. Your customers are not as price sensitive as you're making them out to be. So relax. Maybe you should, with your additional profits, buy a book on selling or marketing and get better at communicating the value of your services to your customers. But know this, if you're listening to this video, if you care that much about your business, you're probably a lot better than the average bear. So lay claim to what's fantastic about you, increase your self-esteem, and raise your prices. It's the only thing you can do that will cause the top line of sales to get bigger without any other corresponding increase in expenses. So those increases in sales flow right down to profitability on your profit and loss. Isn't this sweet? Okay, I've got one more success tip for you. This is the 6th tip for creating more profits and more cash. Make one more call. Make one more call. If it's getting to be the end of the month and your sales aren't where they should be, guaranteed, if you make one more call, knock on one more door, create one more relationship, go to one more networking meeting, make more effort out to create sales. This is the time where you may want to bury yourself under a blanket on the couch. Don't. Just dust yourself off, chest up, go out there and make some friends. So it's always a matter of being willing to go the extra mile. You know what you should do. Just do it. That's the 6th tip. So thanks for joining me on my e-zine. We love helping you make more money. We wish you love, peace, lots of money, and the freedom that caused you to start your business in the first place. So go have fun. Engage these 6 steps for more profits and more cash.